Kawasaki Meguro S1. Have you heard of this bike before? For me, it was a complete unknown, this thing. But how does it ride on the 1000 PS HOTLAP test track? Surprising. Quietly and unnoticed, this beautiful classic motorbike, the Kawasaki Meguro, snuck into our 1000 PS garage. And I didn't even know this bike existed. Yeah, it's an unusual displacement class. With zero expectations, I fired up the engine, leaned into the corners, and instantly fell in love. This is a good motorbike. I'm sorry, folks, that I always end up gushing like this. But some motorcycle manufacturers, Kawasaki in particular, just know exactly how to make a bike fun to ride in any engine size category, namely by giving it clear and predictable handling, good throttle response, a decent gearbox, and just the basics. The ABCs of motorcycling. Of course, you can see that lean angle clearance is limited. Those feeler pegs are getting a bit scraped. Life's tough. But other than that, it's fascinating. You've got these narrow tires, and yet Kawasaki has managed to make it feel stable, not twitchy or nervous. Whether you're braking, trail braking, or transitioning from the braking zone into the acceleration zone in all kinds of riding situations, you get a clear and confidence-inspiring feel for the front end, and also for traction, for the handling. It all feels very smooth and, yeah, actually bigger than it is. With one exception. When you're moving it around or feeling the handling at low speed, you realize it's a small bike. But in terms of performance or the quality of the chassis, it definitely belongs in the upper engine size category. Of course, but at the end of the day, when you're sat on the long straight, it doesn't have the power to keep pulling hard at the top end. One thing I have to give it credit for, unlike many other classic bikes, it has a surprisingly wide rev range. Don't be put off by the cooling fins. You can really wind this engine up. It revs nicely at the top and responds well down low. So you can make use of quite a broad range, broader than on other classic bikes. I also quite like the riding position. Let me show you again. A lot of classic bikes often feel a bit awkward for taller riders, like there's no space for any dynamic movement. But I never had the feeling of being perched on something undersized. And I think because the handling was so smooth and so well balanced, I actually managed to put in a really respectable lap time. I don't know how it compares price-wise with the competition because I wasn't familiar with the bike. I came into this test completely unprepared and had no idea what to expect. But feel free to comment below if you think this bike could be an option for you. It really is a strange displacement category. What are the most relevant alternatives to this bike? I couldn't tell you. Maybe a Royal Enfield. Maybe the Honda, the GB350. Although I have to say, very oddly, the engine here felt livelier than the one in the Honda 350. I have to say that. And I'm curious to see what the lap time will be, but I think it's going to be a lot better than some might expect, especially with that classic exhaust line and so on. You'd think it's just an old pile of metal, but no. It's a proper fun to ride, lovely little machine. You have to admit it. Enjoy the onboard lap. And I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this bike. I didn't know it. Hopefully you know it better than I do.